Joining us now to look ahead to it all is talkSPORT's voice of live football, Adrian Durham. Morning, Aid.
Good morning, Aid.
Great to see you both, and it's good to be here. What a beautiful day and beautiful semi-finalists. And if England go and win the thing, it's just been beautiful, hasn't it?
Yes, agreed.
When we spoke the other day, I asked you to give Gareth Southgate marks out of 10 over his reign, and you went for 8.5 out of 10, and that's pretty impressive. So why do you think that Gareth and the England camp generally appear so tetchy about criticism they've had here?
Do you know what? I've studied all of his press conferences to try to get to the nub of exactly what is wrong and why he's so tetchy. And I think it's because, just from things he said in the group stage press conferences, the expectations he feels are too high on a group of young players. So if you think about the first three penalty takers at the weekend, incredibly young players. Cole Palmer, Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, these are young players. And he's thinking, I'm hearing people saying we should win the Euros. People have said that. A lot of people have said it. With these players, we should win the Euros. First of all, that is incredibly arrogant because you're dismissing all of the opposition. And also, I think people are forgetting that some of these players are incredibly young. For some of them, it is their first tournament. Cole Palmer hasn't even started a tournament game yet.
But if you're going to manage a top team, you have to cope with those expectations. You have to expect those expectations, and for people to say England are favourites to win.
Expect the expectations. I understand what you're saying. However,
I'm glad you do.
But there's a lot of expectation in there. But I think what he's fundamentally saying is correct. If you take Cole Palmer as an example, right? Not started a tournament game, had one season in Premier League football where he's been starting regularly, and it's been a brilliant season. Don't get me wrong. But there's huge. He was expected to step up and score a penalty and not be nervous.
Yeah.
We're all saying, why can't they reproduce their club form? Like it's an easy thing to do. This is England at a tournament, and the weight of a country's expectations are on you. That's a different thing to playing week in, week out with your club. At Chelsea, you could get away with, say, losing a game at Aston Villa or losing a game at Manchester United, and nobody would blink about it. But with England, you lose, you're out. So the expectation is huge.
I think for me, though, speaking as a fan and speaking to fans at games and you see on social media, it's the group of players that we've got. You know, we can afford to leave Maddison, Rashford and Grealish at home. The talent that we've got, you could arguably say we've got the best squad in the tournament. Close, I get it. Portugal's is a great squad. France, Spain, Germany have got a decent squad. If we don't feel that we should win the tournament now, when will we? That's the frustration.
I think what you're saying there is half right, okay? There's some brilliant players in the squad. Nobody can doubt that. We've got world-class players in the squad. But if you look at all positions, really, will we say that they're all world-class and therefore... Is it as good as the 2004 squad, for example, with Scholes in it, Lampard, Gerrard, Rooney and Owen? All of those players, is it really as good as the players that were in that squad? When you look at the defence, and I'm not doing these players down, these are all Premier League players that are playing at an elite level. But did we think Ezri Konsa would be, and he was brilliant, by the way, but did we think he would be in the England team for a quarter-final? No, he did fantastically well. Yeah. And we're all thinking maybe he should be keep his place in the side. Did we think Mark Gahey was going to be this good at these Euros? So in every position, and you're looking at inexperience as well with somebody like Cole Palmer again, Kobbie Mainoo coming in as a teenager and doing what he's doing. Yeah. We're saying that there are some brilliant players in the squad, absolutely correct, but not in all positions, I would say.
Nobody has had more expectation on his shoulders than Jude Bellingham, for a young man. And again, he's taken his fair share of criticism. Is that criticism undeserved?
Yeah, I think so. One thing I've noticed about Jude Bellingham is if you watch him, if you have a player come on Jude Bellingham, he does not stop. Now, okay, can he replicate the quality that he's shown throughout the season with Real Madrid? He hasn't quite hit those levels. Maybe in the first game he did. But he's had moments like the overhead kick, like the penalty at the weekend. But I was surprised he took a penalty because at the end of the 120 minutes, he was gone. His legs were gone because he'd given everything to the cause. So I think there's room in the midst of analysing how a player has played, and Jude Bellingham hasn't hit the heights maybe he expected, maybe we expected. But in the midst of that analysis, people should really be saying, but hold on a second, this is somebody who's caring and giving everything to the England cause. I don't think that's been said enough about Jude.
And the thing about Jude is, however he's performing, he is a game changer and he can do it in a moment. Look, we're talking about negativity and criticism. Fake Weather sat down with Phil Foden yesterday to find out his thoughts on all the negativity.
Everyone's getting a little bit of criticism. I think it's just part of the game. As long as we don't read too much into it and believe in what we're doing on the training field, we know what we have, in the changing room and how we work every day. I feel like sometimes we have to block out that noise if we're ever going to achieve anything. So yeah, obviously it's difficult. It doesn't help when there's a lot of criticism, but like I said there, you just have to keep believing in what we're doing. We keep getting results, so yeah, at the moment we're proving people wrong.
Do you know what I found funny? I looked back at a conversation that we had 3 years ago ahead of the Euros, during the Euros in 2021, and it was almost identical to the narrative that's going on at the moment. Do you think you kind of just get used to that as an England player?
Definitely. There's a lot of fans out there who are passionate, and we know that, and everyone shares different opinions. So yeah, sometimes it is what it is. It comes with football, I suppose. Playing at the highest level. So you just have to learn how to deal with it.
What's your thoughts, Adrian? For me, being an ex-player and been criticised loads over my career, when it's...
Have you?
Yes, by yourself probably. But when it's unfair, you get your back up. You hate the reporter that says it, you hate the journalist that says it, but especially listening to talkSPORT through this tournament, I feel like everything that's been said has been fair. Phil Foden hasn't worked on the left for 4 games. Why is he sticking with it every game? Phil Foden and Saka for the first 3 games, not making runs in behind. Why play Trent when you're not playing wingers that want to run in behind? Conor Gallagher playing in a game where we need players that in the midfield that are going to get on the ball and make things happen, not someone to get the ball back. So I think it's been fair criticism. I don't know what you think, Adrian.
Yeah, I mean, the last game, the Switzerland game, we played better. I think everyone agreed with that. And it feels like it's a couple of steps in the right direction. And if that improvement can continue into the semi-final tomorrow, then all the better, and then on to the final should England win. But I think you're correct, and there's been a lot of criticism. But I think it has been fair, and I think Phil Foden's answered that question from Faye absolutely spot on. Yep. You've got to learn to live with it. When you're at that elite level and you're in the spotlight, especially with the England spotlight, as you know, you do get analysed and scrutinised more than at club level.
Don't forget as well, though, put your fan head on. We haven't won anything for 58 years. We landed in Germany and we're getting mocked. We're the serial losers by the German fans, So fans are out there like, come on. Everyone wants to be celebrating on Sunday at a party. England have won the Euros. But we can't be mocked anymore.
Do you not think that's what they want?
Of course,
they want it.
Of course.
So I understand it. But for me, my reaction to the poor performances has been to say, yes, they've been terrible. But in some ways, I'm kind of chuckling about it because we've managed to get through. I mean, the Slovakia game was utterly ridiculous. We were out. They were on the plane. They were going home. Yes. And then Jude does what he does. Harry does what he does. And to go back to Jude again, hasn't got enough credit for that. I think he'd get into any midfield at these Euros. I think any other team would take him in their midfield. And so we don't give our players enough credit. What we're doing, we're giving them high expectations. When they don't meet those high expectations, we're seeing them as failures. And that, for me, it's a mentality thing about England and the way we scrutinise, and England fans as well. I love that they've got high expectations. Why not? But I think when they're misapplied, it can do the players a disservice.
It made me smile when Manu Petit said, France and England, they're like twins. And they are in many respects, aren't they? Quick word, Adrian. Are you concerned about the refereeing appointment?
It's a good question. We obviously know the details of what happened. And what Jude Bellingham said about it. Jude Bellingham got a big fine for criticising him. I think it's interesting that he hasn't had a bad game. I think when you see him, he refereed Villa against Olympiacos, and he was very good.
Shocking. No, he was.
Sorry, Villa was shocking.
Yes.
No, he was very good. I think they could have avoided the controversy.
Yes.
By not. I think that's the thing. However, I actually think it might work in England's favour because if there is an incident with Jude, he's got to be seen to be doing the right thing.
Yes.
So if he's just suddenly flashing a red card or whatever, that will be analysed. He will be scrutinised, and I don't think he wants to be in that position. Yep. So I think it could work in England's favour, to be honest.
OK, more with Aid in a moment or two. Plus, we'll be finding out exactly who is miles off it.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.